We have a few new documents in the Idaho case. Let's go. Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions. We have one, two, three, four little documents to go over in the Idaho case. Now, before we get started with that, if you guys haven't seen that I have a second channel, it is called Logical Oddity. We talk about things that aren't technically true crime, but that are still, news, interesting, political, all the stuff that's kind of just going on. It's basically my view of what's going on in the actual world around us. Well, today I posted a video about a very interesting situation out of LA County. Four sheriffs, four employees of the LA County Sheriff's Department have taken their own lives within a 24-hour period just this past week, this past Monday. I posted a video over on my second channel today about that. So if you guys have not seen that nor checked it out, the link for that video will be in the description box. So as you guys can see, we have one, two, three, and four little documents to go over. It looks like they filed the 10th supplemental request for discovery, and all this stuff is sealed, guys. There's not actually a lot of information, if any, that we can actually go over. As you can see, sealed. So whatever they have presented for this 10th supplemental request for discovery, we are not going to be able to see what it is that they are talking about for a while. Here is the stipulated motion to actually file the request under seal. And what this means is that they're asking the state for something, but they don't want the public to know what the ins and outs of that something actually is, which is interesting because if you're just asking for like evidence to be sent over, I just don't know why. I don't know why they feel the need to do this. There's a lot of secrecy in this case. There's no telling what's going to end up actually coming out come trial. And again, this is just them actually approving the 10th supplemental request for discovery to be actually filed under seal and, all secret and stuff. And then we have sort of what we've been looking for a while. This is the order for the in-camera review for the IGG information deadline. Now, again, in camera does not mean it's going to actually be like recorded in camera or whatever. This is where Judge goes in and takes all of the IGG information that the state hands him by what it looks like December 1st. And then he's going to go over it before it gets handed over to the defense. And I was really leery about that. And I said that I wasn't as leery as I was because we had a status conference. And in the status conference, he told both sides that if he felt the need to, he would end up calling them like all together, and all three of them would look at this IGG information together. So that kind of made me feel better when it came to like, okay, why are we having to go through a third party for this? Like, why can't the state just hand it all over to the defense and they just file it sealed to where the public doesn't see it? Like, I understand their whole thing about not wanting people that are in Bryan Kohberger's family tree that have nothing to do with anything, like having their names and all their information out there. But if it's literally just for the purpose of the defense validating the information as being accurate and true and doing their own like family tree based off of everything just to make sure that like all of the branches match, there's no reason for the public to ever know the names of that family tree, whether they be true or not, whether they be actual relations or not. There's no reason for any of that information to become public anyway. Like I've said several times, I just want the defense to have all of the evidence and all of the information that they're asking for, because in my opinion and the opinion of a lot of professionals, and I know that there's some back and forth with this. Some professionals say, no, it's not necessary. They're not going to be doing anything with this when it comes to the actual trial. None of this is important. But then we have actual professionals that get on, news segments and talk about this case. And they're like, oh, no, it's very, very, very valid because, from what we're understanding, if it wasn't for the way that this IGG investigation was done, then they would have never even known to look at Bryan Kohberger. And that's how I feel about it. That's how I felt about it from day one. And I'm glad I'm not alone, but I do also sort of see the point of the other side, because they have said 1,000 times, and at this point, that they're not going to be using any of the IGG information, and that they haven't used it for arrest warrants or for search warrants or for anything valid. But again, we've gone over the arrest warrant and the search warrants here on this channel several times, and especially in the search warrant for his apartment and his office, John Daniels mentions the DNA on the sheath and who at Moscow or in that side of the investigation told her about the DNA match on the sheath. But then while she's giving them all of this information about what she was told about the DNA on the knife sheath, she then says, "But forget I told you that. Just forget that I even mentioned it." Is how it goes, which is weird. And I don't know why that's deemed normal, but a lot of people have said that they put stipulations like that in there for just in case purposes, but that's weird. Like, there's really nothing that's ever going to convince me that that's not weird. Now, that's it for the actual new documents and the updates in the case, but I did want to just touch on something just real quick, okay? The camera situation. All right, we know that they're going to be allowing cameras and that Judge just wants to be able to, rein the cameras in and get them under control, but that it's going to be always a court like pull camera system. They're not giving literally anyone else any sort of approval for anything, and everyone knows that, right? Like, everyone at this point knows there's a pull camera, and that's the only one that's going to be allowed, and they haven't broken that. That's what they're keeping to. Okay. I find it funny that some of these YouTube channels think that it's cute to go in and put in a request to be in the courtroom recording or taking photos or anything. They only are doing that because they're fully aware. Okay, they are fully aware what the rules and stipulations are. Okay, they're only doing that because they know that people are constantly looking at this, and it gets them people on their channel, like JLR, and who else did it? J is for Justice, Points Authority podcast, Think Tank. What are you guys doing? What are you doing? News Nation and the New York Post, okay, they're getting denied. Denied. So I don't understand the point of little people, because that's what we are. That's what we are out here. We're little people. I don't understand why little people like this would go in and try to request media access. And then what's funny here is that this is JLR, right? This is Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates, but they put JRL. Like, they didn't even label it in here correctly. And then if we go to J is for Justice, no, you know damn well that this is a pull camera. You're literally only filing this because you want your name to be officially in the docket for one of the most high profile cases like in our history. People make a lot of comments about, oh, you're just doing stuff for clicks and views. This is a click and view situation. Okay, this is a click and view situation, and there's nothing that anyone can say to make me change my mind. You all, even the ones that I've never heard of before, you all know the rules for the cameras in this case. This is a selfish waste of the Idaho people's taxpayer dollars, because a clerk of court had to go in there and make sure that that document got either, approved or denied, which we all know it's going to get denied. Okay. Then they had to go in there and file it and do all these things. And for what? So that your channel name can just be officially the part of a docket that, for what? I just find it stupid, and it's petty. I know it's petty, and people are going to be like, "Oh, here she is. She's just running her mouth." Yeah, that's what most of you guys are here for. Because I do that. I run my mouth whenever I think something and I feel like it's going to make my brain explode. I have to get it out verbally. So here it is. These people are ridiculous, and that's just going to be the way that I put that. But that is it for the rant, and like I mentioned, that is it for the update. If you liked this video, please do not forget to leave a like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already. See y'all!